And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking the Italian Grand Prix preview. Who is going to win? Well, to be fair, once again, we have absolutely no idea. So we'll be talking about the driver stories coming in. Breaking news today in relation to Williams dropping Logan Sargent. We'll be having a look at the track, a few track stats as well, and remind ourselves on that championship standings. Yes, Max Verstappen still favourite for the title, but maybe not favourite for the constructors, at least. That's Red Bull v McLaren. I think McLaren are looking good. And these, as you can see here, to the right of your screen, are the current standings. We can't exactly see the points. We will in a minute though. But it's Verstappen leading. It's Lando Norris in second, Charles Leclerc third, Piastri fourth, Sainz fifth, Hamilton sixth, Perez seventh, Russell eighth. They're realistically, one of them is going to be the world champion. It's most likely going to be, let's be fair, Max Verstappen. However, let us look at the other important thing of the race weekend. This is UK time. When does the race and the practice sessions start? No sprint race. So, practice 1 on the Friday, the 30th of August, 12:30 till 1:30. Practice 2, 4 till 5. Practice 3, 11:30 till 12:30. And that's on the 31st of August, the last day of August. And we have qualifying as well later on that afternoon, 3 till 4, with the race starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the Sunday. When you want to look at track time plus everything, an hour, it's pretty much European time there. So add an hour to everything, and that is our track time for the Italian Grand Prix. But before we get into what's happening, what's happening to all the other people, spare a thought for poor Logan Sargent as F2 racer Colapinto. I probably got that wrong. But he replaces Logan Sargent at Williams for the rest of the 2024 season. Yeah, Williams have announced that Academy driver and Formula 2 racer Franco Colapinto will contest the remainder of the season with the squad, replacing Logan Sargent as Alex Albon's teammate. He joined the Williams Racing Academy early last year in 2023. He made his FP1 debut with the F1 team at this year's British Grand Prix, giving him an initial taste of the FW46, as in he did FP1. And there we go. Lots of people thought it was going to be Lawson or Mick Schumacher. So, from this point of view, massive plot twist. I mean, I don't think anyone predicted that whatsoever. So, let's now talk about the track itself. Let's talk about the Temple of Speed, the fastest track on the F1 calendar. I really like it. Is it easy to pass? Yes, you can pass. I'd even make an argument that it's about maybe as easy as Zandvoort. You'd think, oh no, surely it's going to be easier. DRS, yes, there is a slipstream because they run such low downforce. The slipstream effect and the DRS effect, funnily enough, are not that prevalent, which is quite interesting. So here we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to slowly disappear the camera there, and as we can see the actual track here. So we're coming up now to what we call the Parabolica. So let's have a look now. So the Parabolica is one of the most important corners. Why? Because it's going to set up your lap, and it's going to set up for that really, really long straight down to that first chicane. As you can see there, we have DRS into the Prima Varitina. And here we go. Make sure we get the braking right, because that can really, really affect you. So most people brake nice and early and get the car nicely set up for that long strip. They used to be called the Curva Grande, but I think it's now called the Curva Biasono. I could get that completely wrong. So, and we got the Variante Seconda, which is this one coming up now. Yes, we see passing here. At one time, it was Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel. I think in 2018, Vettel ended up spinning around, or 2017. But into the first of the two famous Lesmos, the Curva Lesmos, into the second Lesmo. This one is the most important, because once again, it sets us up for another DRS zone, all the way to the fastest chicane at Monza, the Variante Ascari. Yes, we have seen passes in here, believe it or not. And it's fast and sweeping. Once again, poor Vettel has spun here. We have seen things happen in that chicane. Now all the way down now, once again, to the Curva Parabolica. It has, I think it is called something else. I completely forgot though. But we have also seen passes and side-by-sides into here. It is, I've always found this a really, really difficult corner. When I do it, I can never do it right in the games. But there we go. Once again, a really, really important lap is that. So we get to do it many, many more times. And funnily enough, it is the shortest. It's the shortest race on the calendar in terms of actual time. So, yeah. Now, the fastest car should do well here. Red Bull, looking good. We know how good their DRS is. Normally, tyre wear shouldn't really be too much of an issue here either, at all. But let's have a look at some of those track facts before we get into all those driver stuff. So, we have here, as we know, Monza has hosted the Italian Grand Prix in every World Championship season except 1980. Yeah, that's not bad. So it has a track length of 5.793. It's 53, that's kilometres. It's 53 laps, 11 turns. First opened in 1922, but obviously, as we know, Formula 1 started in 1950, and that's when Monza held their first F1 race. It's held 73 races as well, a track record of a 118.8 from Lewis Hamilton in 2020. But you've got to go all the way back to 2004. And, smile if you're a Ferrari fan, because it is a Ferrari that has the lap record, but it's not Michael Schumacher. It is Rubens Barrichello on a 121.046. I wonder if that'll be broken anytime soon. So Schumacher and Hamilton share the Italian Grand Prix win record with most wins at the track. 5 apiece. Hamilton, Alonso, Leclerc, Gasly, Verstappen, Ricciardo are the 6 drivers currently on the 2024 grid who've previously won the Italian Grand Prix, while Hamilton has 5. Alonso and Verstappen have won twice. Leclerc, Gasly and Ricciardo have joined that list of winners in 2019, 2020 and 2021. Who can forget Ricciardo's last victory in 2021 against the norm, and also Gasly's victory as well. That was equally amazing, wasn't it? In 2020. And if you're a Ferrari fan, let's be fair, you're not going to forget Charles Leclerc's victory all the way back in 2019. I think that was his second victory. We've also got Fangio, Moss, Phil Hill, Ronnie Peterson, Nelson Piquet, Damon Hill, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen. They're the 8 drivers who've won back-to-back wins at the circuit. Fangio is the only driver to have won three consecutive times. British drivers, once again, hello Britain, they've won more races here than any other nation. Also standing on the podium a whopping 21 times. I mean, that's not bad at all. Ferrari have more wins than any other team, though, so that's good to know. They've won on home soil a total of 19 times. They're also the engine supplier, obviously, with the most wins. Remember, Sebastian Vettel also with that fantastic 2008 victory in basically what was Minardi's old team. It's now the Toro Rosso, the Alpha Tauri, or the RB, VCAR, whatever you want to call it. The smallest win margin was 0.01 seconds all the way back in 1971, with the largest win margin in 1954. That is one Manuel Fangio. However, in 2020, Pierre Gasly, quite a small win margin, because it was it was Carlos Sainz that was very much hunting him down. So that's not bad at all. Hamilton finished on the podium 2018, 17, 16, 15 and 14. So he's got the most podium visits here as well. Will Mercedes be lucky enough to get on the podium? Who knows? Who knows at all? So let's have a chat then about the drivers, shall we? Let's have a chat about the drivers as we're going to stop the on-track action there. Thank you very much. And let's talk about the current championship and the driver standings. Let's see who's last. And unfortunately, because he scored nil points, it's this guy here, Valtteri Bottas. It's a bit unfair that he's last in the championship. He is doing better than Zhou. Once again, I don't foresee them. I thought maybe there was a chance of scoring points at Holland. Didn't happen. Is there more of a chance of scoring points in Monza? No, unless we have some kind of crazy weather or something. So next up, second to last, well, he's gone now, so we're not going to talk about him too much, but Logan Sargent. He had his last practice session and his last race at the Dutch Grand Prix. He is now gone. Williams have It is very sad when a driver goes. I mean, you know, with Nick de Vries, etc. However, you cannot say that Williams didn't give him the biggest crack of the whip, the biggest chance going. So there. So next up, I would make an argument is a guy that's not. He's just not done very well at all, has he? It's Mr. Guan Yu, the man from China. It's kind of like a start record at this point. Last year was really good. This year not. Moving on. Next up, we have the man that nearly scored points, qualified in 8th, but then was disqualified at the Dutch Grand Prix, Alexander Albon. So, his teammate, the new F2 driver, well, the former F2 driver, is going to be up against it. Could Williams score points? They've always gone well here. However, they always went well because they had good straight line speed. That's something they do not have coming into this race weekend because, as James Vowles said, they're going for like an all-rounder and they know the pain they're going to cause themselves in 2024. However, it still wouldn't surprise me if they did sneak a point, maybe into Q3. They're going to have to really nail and make the most of their practice sessions, though, aren't they? Next up, we've got Esteban Ocon, a man that's not done too bad. I think in terms of pace, him and Pierre Gasly have been quite close to each other. Even if he's 17th in the championship and Pierre Gasly's 14th. But yes, this is going to be his last, obviously, Italian Grand Prix. So I don't expect too much from the Alpines because, as we know, their engine isn't particularly great, is it? Somewhat sadly. So next up is Kevin Magnussen. Yep, where's he gone there? I'm never going to get his name right, am I? I'm not going to change it. Let's keep him as Kevin Magnussen, but I don't expect too much. He was kind of average at Holland. It's weird. I think he himself has probably accepted he's not going to get an F1 drive for next year at the very least. So his second career in Formula 1 potentially is coming to an end. However, he's got nothing to lose. So I don't see why he doesn't go for it. But there we go. That's Kevin Magnussen in 16th. Oliver Behrman is 15th. We don't need to talk about him, but we know he's going to Haas next year. Kevin Magnussen's replacement, potentially. So, but we are going to be talking about Pierre Gasly. He's had a really solid job. And once again, it's that Renault engine that's going to let them down. All this talk, obviously, of them having a Mercedes engine in the next couple of years, I think it's, once again, I've always said, bit of a joke. If you are the Alpine team, bit of a joke. Bit of a joke. I feel sorry for Gasly. Next up, we've got Daniel Ricciardo. I just need to find him on the list now. Now, this guy, he actually, to be fair, qualifying absolutely terrible, I thought, against Tsunoda. In the race, not bad. Not bad at all. Didn't score any points. I don't think, when you looked at their pace in the practice session in Holland, not too bad. At Monza, it could be different. If they nail the setup, they could be fighting for that 9th and 10th points. You never know. I think a lot of it depends on how good Aston Martin are and how good someone like Nico Hülkenberg can upset the apple cart. But before we get into Nico Hülkenberg, we've got to talk about Yuki Tsunoda. Sky really lambasted the Sky girls, Natalie Pinkham, etc. Really got their teeth into Christian Horner in that interview. You know, why not Tsunoda? Because once again, we think here better than Perez potentially, or at least equal to Perez potentially. But yeah, kind of upset. You know, not particularly great. That Red Bull have completely it's not. Yuki's not happening, which makes you think they just maybe appeased Honda. But for the Italian Grand Prix, like Daniel Ricciardo, when we go into a weekend at this point now, I think Ricciardo has shown he's got sort of his mojo back. Not all of it, though. But it's really difficult to make a prediction. Come the race, I think Tsunoda is stronger in qualifying, but come the race, I can't help but feel Ricciardo has begun to get a hand on that car and race pace, and maybe a tiny step faster than Tsunoda, but Tsunoda's got it in qualifying. So in terms of which of them are going to win out at Monza, I've absolutely no idea. I do expect Danny Ricciardo to keep his seat. I mean, yeah, if they keep, let's be fair, if they're keeping Perez, you're going to keep Ricciardo. Surely, I have been wrong before. So let's get into the man that could spoil things for the lower down teams. And it's not Yuki Tsunoda, it is this man, Nico Hülkenberg, the man off to Audi. He's in a Ferrari engine, using Ferrari power, Ferrari suspension, I think Ferrari gearbox. He could go quite well at Monza. Expect fighting at least for Q1, given if they can nail that setup, maybe getting the odd point if there's a whoopsie-daisy at the first corner or something weird going on. Not completely out of the question. Next up, we have Lance Stroll. for the Aston Martin team. They really do seem to be now the 5th fastest team behind Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, and then it's Aston Martin. So 9th and 10th. However, they're not so fast to fit. They're not so far and dominant as the 5th team, like as standard, that it's a guarantee they're going to finish 9th and 10th. But they should really, shouldn't they? Absolutely they should. So I think both Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso have been really, really close to each other. I expect Fernando to, once again, come out on top. But he's most certainly not been as fast. Now, whether it is Lance Stroll has been improving or Fernando Alonso has regressed, once again, since that signing, I don't really know. So let's get into the top 4 teams and let's have a chat. Let's have a chat about George Russell. Yeah. George, you did, both Mercedes, what was going on in Holland, and you have to wonder, if they nail the setup, they can be right up there at Monza. But it's a big if. They can nail it in practice, maybe they nail it in qualifying, maybe they'll nail it in the race. But it's seemingly very rare that they nail all three of those sessions. And George Russell, although he did qualify and showed Hamilton the way, when you look at his race pace, it was Hamilton that was definitely the more impressive. Next up, we've got Sergio Perez. So people are expecting good things from him. He's currently 7th in the championship in a Mercedes sandwich behind Hamilton, but ahead of Russell. I do expect that Red Bull will want a minimum top 6 for Sergio Perez. Realistically, they're going to want him to beat at least Piastri or one of the McLarens. So will he? I don't know. I don't know. They have turned around Red Bull, haven't they? And said, oh well, he's good at Baku and he's good at Singapore. Yes, very good idea. Keep a driver that they think is going to be good for 2 tracks out of 24. I don't really see the logic there. However, I'd love to be proven wrong. Wouldn't it be great if Sergio Perez comes out with a win this weekend, destroys his disbelievers? Is it going to happen? I wouldn't bet the house on it, but what a story it would be. Realistically, I think he's going to be somewhere in the top 6, 7, really. And even if he qualifies well, he needs to race well as well. And both of them seem to be a bit of a weakness for him at the moment. But we'll see. Fingers crossed. So next up, we've got Lewis Hamilton, who I think could do quite well here. Will he out-qualify George Russell? I don't know. Will he out-race him? Very likely. On his form at the moment, he is the on-form man. Even though he finished behind George on the track in Zandvoort and had a botchy qualifying session, he was the fast Mercedes driver on race day. Well, then that, I think, would have given him a bit of confidence. And confidence aplenty, I think, the 2 Ferrari boys have, with Carlos Sainz currently 5th in the championship. However, a really, really solid race at the in Zandvoort, when no one would have given them any, no one would have predicted that they'll be that quick. There's an argument they were potentially the 2nd fastest team behind McLaren. Now, if they keep that up, that's going to be really interesting. Full stop. So we've got Oscar Piastri. He's currently 4th in the channel. Disappointing weekend in Holland. I don't want to say Monza's going to be easier, but if they can set the car up, I think he'll be a lot closer to Lando, but I don't think he'll be a hit. If Lando did what he did at the Dutch Grand Prix, I don't think Oscar Piastri is going to be beating him at all whatsoever. So we've got Charles Leclerc, arguably Ferrari's big hope. The pressure will be on him. Could we have another podium? I think a podium is potentially likely. A win, I think something needs to happen ahead. However, once again, Mercedes, Ferrari were the 2nd fastest car potentially at the last race. And that's something we can't really ignore. They did look really good. He was catching, albeit slowly, on Max Verstappen. So in 2nd place in the championship, and the man that won Zandvoort in style from lap 18, he went from Choke Norris to Chuck Norris, fluffing the start again, but past Max Verstappen at his home race. He must come here with bags of confidence. Surely one of the favourites. I don't want to put him as favourite because I think Max Verstappen is the other favourite. He's going to really want to fight back. Max Verstappen is angry. Jos has been in the news saying, it's not good enough. But I'm like, yeah, Jos, shh, Jos. We've had enough of you. You're a dad. We don't need to hear that much in the media. It's just, and it's also a shame. It's just headlines, isn't it? Ignore your dad, Max. Ignore your team. This is all down to you now. Arguably not to the fastest car. However, tyre wear they have been suffering with. I don't think tyre wear is going to be too much of an issue at the Italian Grand Prix. So I think it's going to be really, really super close between Max and Lando Norris. They'll probably share the front row and then have a nice battle. And it may well come down to strategy and where the other two cars in their cohort are, where Sergio Perez is and where Oscar Piastri is. And if it does come down to their other two cars, their teammates, you got to give the lead to McLaren, because Perez, yeah, very much not done particularly well so far. Yeah, so that is your Monza Italian Grand Prix preview. Wow, we've been going for 20 minutes. If you like what you see, please, oh please, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button so you do not miss a video. We talk about rally as well, touring car, the odd bit of gaming. But even if you're here for the F1, we talk loads of F1. We'll speak to you soon. Stay safe. Arrivederci.